Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're going to dive into a really powerful tool for sounding more fluent in English, the past continuous tense. Now, I know it sounds a little technical, but trust me, by the end of this, you'll see it as your secret weapon for telling way better stories. So, let me start by asking you a question. Which tense do you think tells a better story? Is it the one that just lists off facts, one after the other? Or is it the one that actually paints a picture in your mind? Just keep that thought in your head because today is all about turning boring, simple statements into really vivid scenes. All right, first up, the IELTS Grammar Challenge. I know for a lot of you, the big goal is getting a great score on the IELTS exam, and that's exactly where we're going to start. Mastering the past continuous isn't just about ticking a grammar box. It's about unlocking a higher score. It's a total game changer. I mean, think about the IELTS speaking test for a second. The examiner doesn't just want a list of facts, right? They want to hear that you can communicate naturally, like a real person. Well, the past continuous is the tense that lets you do exactly that. It shows them you can handle more complex ideas and describe things with real detail and, a bit of style.
Okay, so how do we actually build this tense? Don't worry, this isn't going to be complicated. We're about to look at a super simple blueprint that you can use every single time, no problem.
So here's the official definition. The past continuous tense is all about an action that was in progress, something that was happening at a very particular moment in the past. The key thing to remember is it's not about the start or the finish of the action, it's about being right there in the middle of it. And here it is. This is that simple blueprint I was talking about. Honestly, all you have to remember is this one little formula. You take your subject, you add was or were, and then you stick an ing on the end of your verb. That's it. That's the whole structure right there. And here's what it looks like in action. See the structure? I was reading, and they were studying. You've got your subject, you've got was or were, and you've got that verbing ing. Both of these examples show an action that was in progress in the past. Pretty simple, right? All right, now that we have the formula down, let's get to the fun part, seeing how it actually builds a better story. I mean, knowing how to form the tense is one thing, but knowing when to use it, well, that's where the magic really happens. We're going to look at 3 powerful scenarios where this tense is absolutely your best friend. So yeah, let's break down these 3 key situations one by one. First up, describing an interrupted action. This is a classic. You have a long, ongoing action. I was cooking, and then, bam, it's suddenly interrupted by a shorter action. The phone rang. See how the past continuous perfectly sets up that longer background action? Okay, our second use case is for parallel actions. This is what you use when you want to describe 2 or even more things that were happening at the exact same time. So while one thing was happening over here, another thing was also happening over there. I was studying, and at that same moment, my friend was watching TV. And finally, our third use, setting the scene. This is my favorite one. Before you even get to the main part of your story, you can use the past continuous to just paint a picture of the atmosphere. The sun was shining, the birds were singing. It immediately pulls your listener into the world of your story. It's so effective. Okay, now this is important. Let's talk about the single most common mistake people make with this tense. Seriously, if you can avoid this one little trap, you're going to be way ahead of the game. So have a look at these 2 sentences on the screen. Which one do you think is correct? Is it A, I was finished my work, or B, I finished my work? Just take a second, think about it. What did we say the past continuous is for? Ongoing actions, right? And the answer is B. If you chose B, you got it. And here's why. Remember, the past continuous is for ongoing actions. Finishing your work, that's a completed action. It's a single event that's over. And for that, you always use the simple past tense. I finished my work. Getting this distinction right is absolutely critical. So let's bring this all back to our main goal, using this tense as your secret weapon for the IELTS. This is where all these little pieces come together to really help you boost that score. Just imagine saying this in your speaking test. It sounds so much more natural and interesting than just saying, I walked to the exam. I realized I forgot my ID. This one sentence shows the examiner you can set a scene, I was walking, and you can describe a sudden interruption, when I realized. This is exactly the kind of advanced, natural language they are looking for. So let's do a super quick recap of the key takeaways. First, remember that simple formula. Second, master those 3 key uses for storytelling: interrupted actions, parallel actions, and setting the scene. And maybe most importantly, avoid that big mistake. Never, ever use this tense for a completed action.
And that pretty much wraps it up. You've got the blueprint, you know the right times to use it, and you know the big trap to avoid. So really, the only question left is, what story will you tell? Get out there and start practicing with it today, and I promise you, you are going to see a huge difference. Thanks so much for joining me.